I think you guys have forced me to mute, or else you would have muted yourself, Anandeep. Try unmuting yourself and then talk, or else dial in from your phone and you can talk to us. No option. Suman, could you please try it? Yeah. Suman, are you there on the call?
Yes, sir.
So can you please write it?
Ganapati?
Yeah.
I'm still getting the same error.
You all have to. Oh, you still get the same error?
Yes, sir. This is Asad. I got the same error.
Okay. Did you guys? Okay. Can you, one of you, log off from your repository? Let me go and log into your repository and see. I will take Abdul's repository now. So I'm exiting my own repository, because if it doesn't work this way, you go to file and then say exit. Abdul, I'm taking your repository.
Okay, one second.
Sure. And please provide me what is your repository number.
Cannot establish data connection. ODBC call.
ODBC. Yeah, you have to define the ODBC there.
Yeah, the process was I had to select from system DSN. I got a warning there saying that you are logged on with a non-administrative privileges. System DSNs could not be created or modified. Okay, I click OK. Then I click MS SQL and then click on OK, right?
Yeah.
Then apply after that?
Yeah.
Okay, when I click apply, this is the warning I get. Cannot establish database connection. ODBC call SQL driver connect for data source failed. Data source name not found or no default driver specified. And I said, do you want to save the data?
Data store anyway. Okay.
So yes or no.
Okay, never mind. We will fix the issue. Let me visualize what was the issue, then I can fix it. Okay, let us do it this way. Everyone, go into your system. Sorry, go into the same panel where you see user DSN, and we will add a new ODBC connection for you. We will do that and it should work. So please repeat the same steps, whatever I am doing. Go edit, then go to your ODBC admin. In your user DNS, click on add. After you click on add, select SQL server and say finish. And here, give it a name. Give the name as source_DB. Please let me know if anyone are not able to follow me. So we went into the user DSN. I have click on add, and we are adding source_DB as the name. I have selected SQL server. Here you see. I click on add, and in these drivers, I have selected SQL Server and click on Finish. Here I am giving a name called as source_db. Okay, and in the server, when you use the drop down menu, you have 3 to 4 of them listed. Select the first one. The server itself is the server. The first one, guys, server. Select that, say next. The source_db already exists for me, that is, but that's okay. I'm making it as an override. And then you don't need to specify any login ID. Instead, say connect to SQL Server to obtain default settings for additional configuration options. It is being checked. So login ID, let me know what kind of a login ID it is showing you.
It's showing me Cloud 7.
For me, it is zCloud 5.
Okay, okay. Yeah, click on next. Let us see what will happen.
Connection failed. Physical state 28,000.
Okay, never mind. I'm not going to spend more time on that. Let us just not use the my MS Access, or let me try giving you access. Why is it saying? Because okay, what could be the problem? Okay, I will debug it later. Most probably, we should be able to get it fixed. So instead of DS legacy source, let us try doing it one other small thing and see if it works. Okay. Does it give you an option to enter the username and password, guys? Let me see that option actually. When I create the system DNS, you can go and select use it actually. But if it is not allowing you, I don't know what it is. And ODBC system data source information includes this one. So MS SQL configure. So here is the one. And with Windows, with SQL Server username password. So I give it this one. Okay, guys. Now we can make it work. I will give you the admin password for SQL Server, and I will fix it later. So what you do is, are you on the same screen where I am? You would have selected MS SQL and say add. After you say add, it will ask you to select a driver, select the SQL Server driver, and say finish. Here you give it as source_db, and in the server you can type in a server or you can select it from the drop down menu. Both are okay. And in this particular screen, the first option is with Windows NT authentication using the network login ID. The second option is with SQL Server authentication using the login ID and a password entered by a user. Please select that one. When you select that one, your login ID is enabled. So in the login ID, enter your login ID should be the same. Enter your password, please. If at all it makes a difference, let us see if it works, or else I will give you the administrator password. And one of you please talk to me so that I can understand if you are able to follow or not. let me give the opportunity for Rakesh. Rakesh, please, could you please let us know if you are able to understand this one and you reach this particular screen? Or Arvind, could you do that for me? Are we on call, guys?
I'm getting the error.
Okay. When are you getting the error? Is it when you choose a login ID?
Yes, login ID was zcolot5 and the password was the one you gave me. It was welcome C93 again.
Okay, don't worry. Now change the login ID as administrator. ADMINISTRATOR. Administrator.
Up.
Sorry guys, I promised for a break, but we could not take it because we already are in trouble. So let me just create one here and then we should be good to go. I'm trying to create a different database and then do it immediately. It will not. Okay, let us take a break for 10 minutes. By the time you come back, I will create a new database and we should be able to get in. Break for 10 minutes, guys. Anudeep, I'm sending it. Hold on a second. Anudeep. ATL. I will also take a 5-minute restroom break and come back. And Arvind, could you take the opportunity to ask everyone to do the same thing, whatever you did, and they should be able to see the data. I will be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay, and then go to import from file. Same thing like what we did last time. Select data stores, and then open. Give Cloud Z. Import here.
There's a new data store which says DS target.
If there is something called the first one, you would see DS_legacy_Oracle.
Yes.
If you just go to one of the tables there and double click it, and now if you see view data, you should be able to see the data.
Okay.
Okay, you gave it. Yeah, there was a question. Go for it. Was there a question?
It was in the chat by Anidhi.
Does importing the ATL file corrupt my repository? No.
Okay, Ganapati, I have a few questions on.
Go ahead.
So, we are creating a repository, right?
That is correct.
We are doing
We have created the repository. This is a data.
What is that?
We whatever you logged in is the repository, and this is just your data store.
Okay, so every developer would get a repository for himself, which would be local to his system, and then they will check into the central repository, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now here we have three data sources. One is for the source, one is for the target, and one is for the staging area, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I'm connecting to my source system is SQL Server and my target is Oracle and my staging area. So I have three data stores. When I first start doing this, should I go and create this metadata I mean, should I go and create all those tables? That's what how I do.
Yes, in general, that's how it is. But in a corporate environment, what they will do is they will create the data store if they have an administrator. They will keep it in the central repository. Like I did the same job without the central repository. So someone will create data store for you and ask you to import and start using it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? Give me a moment here. I will ask my coordinator. Suman, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Suman, could you also take up and use Cloud zCloud 8, and you can also start using this. And if you want instructions, because it will be easy for everyone, when they had a question, you are the one who is going to help them. So you can also practice.
Sure.
Okay. I'm sending you the access information, the document I prepared for that, and you should be able to take that and start looking into it. And you'd also learn data services along with the rest of the students. So I'm giving you one I created for Abdul, because he is you can take Cloud 9. Though there is Cloud 6 or 7 in Abdul's document, take Cloud 9 and work in the same way whatever we are doing. It should be fairly easy. I sent you, Suman. Oh, I sent it to myself. I didn't send it to you. But anyhow, you have access to reaches@trainingclouds.com and it is there. I'm also sending you to, yeah. Bear with me, guys. One moment. I'm trying to get him also access to the same server. He can also practice. Okay, right now we're all on the same page that you are able to create this. Now you know what is data and metadata. Can you just click expand the DS legacy Oracle, and then on the tables, double click on the ODS customer and click on view data. So the bottom part is data. All we try to do is differentiate between data and metadata. The top part is metadata. And one information for Anudeep. Anudeep, though I have given you the ATLs, they are not going to work for you because you don't have the database, the same credentials and all. It is just for the namesake I have given you. Okay, any questions on data and metadata, guys? No questions. Fine. Let us go back into the presentation. You have very good information in my presentation, which I wanted to speak up before I go and do it more. So we have created a data store finally, and you all are able to access the tables. And this is the data store I'm talking about. So you can define the data store in whatever the way I'm showing in here. The data store can connect to applications like Oracle application, SAP application, web services. I mean, first we saw that the data store can be used to connect to databases, and then I'm also trying to show it is not only the databases, it can also directly connect to the application. So this is the list of the data bases we have, and this is the list of
I think I can see your screen.
Oh, you are right. And also I have to start recording. Okay, this is where we were, and in the other screen, which I showed you, this is the designer, which is the developer's playground. and we have defined the metadata. I mean, you did not define it, I defined it, and I have given you the ATL, so you are able to see the same tables. So we are using Oracle as our source, Oracle as our staging, and Oracle as our target. Don't worry about it. I will give you more sources like text files, Excel. You'll have SQL Server. We will try any of the databases. No worries. It is going to be the same. So all the applications that are listed here can be accessed through a data store. You have to create a separate data store for each database. A data store is very much database specific. You cannot have the same data store to point to different databases. I mean, there is a way that you could do multiple configuration, which we will see it at the advanced stages. But currently, think so. One data store is only for one database. You can import metadata for individual tables using. You can import metadata for individual tables using, I mean, you go to the browsing and then you can do a name search to get the new table if at all you want. But I did everything for you and kept the data store ready. But this is only for the first class. In future, you are the one who is going to extract or import these tables and then do it. First, I try to make it easy for you. Now we will have to understand the very important thing, object library. This is what is the terminology you will have to speak to a client or a customer when you are talking about data services. The local object library will have projects, jobs, workflows, scripts, data flows, file formats, ABAP data flows, real-time data flows, transforms, finally custom functions. If I am not wrong, they are in the same order as I have put in there, but I see the file formats is being switched. But these are all different objects. So they are all part of the local object library that you are seeing. They are not currently part of the central object library. We will see them in the same way, but the central repository is not available. So we are only calling them as a local object library. You see projects, jobs, workflows, everything can be called as an object. The highest in the hierarchy is a project. Under that, you have jobs. Under each job, you have multiple workflows. A workflow is a reusable object. We will see the definition of each of these objects in the next screen. Project. A data integration application typically contains one or more data services projects. Each project contains one or more jobs, which can load data in batch mode or respond to a real-time request. Projects are a convenient way to group related real-time jobs. Not only real-time jobs, guys. I can fix it right away. Real-time or batch jobs is both same. So that is the definition of a project. What is a job? Job. There are two types of jobs. We have batch jobs. We have real-time jobs. A batch job can extract data. It can transform data and load data. A real-time job, it does exactly the same thing, but a small difference. It can respond to an online web service request or it can work based on an SMS or the message it receives. It has an access server which will receive a message and then trigger the task. That is the difference between a batch job and real-time job. One is used in an integration world, the other is used in data warehousing and data migration world. We will see the differences really close. Need not worry about it. A real-time job receives a request, extract, transform, and load data into the support that request, and then responds to the requester in the real time, which means it will complete the task and send back a request saying the task is executed. That is a real-time job. Whereas a batch job, it runs based on the schedule you have. It has been scheduled. So on that time, what are the parameters you give, it run by that. It cannot receive a message, it cannot send a message. The message, the email message is okay, but we are talking about an online message, which means on Amazon.com, someone raises an order. The order has to be moved from their web interface into an order processing system. There you will use a real-time job. You will not use a batch job. Then what is a batch job? You are using batch job to do a nightly loads, which means from your order processing system, you want to move data into a data warehouse. then you will use a batch job. If anyone has questions on batch job and real-time job, go for it now. Okay. Workflows. Workflows contain steps that define the order of steps. You see, the terminology is weird. Workflow contains steps that define the order of steps. But though it is weird, it is correct. Workflow is just a placeholder, guys, which means it doesn't really do any kind of extract, transform, and load operations. It is a wrapper around the data flows which actually does the extraction, transformation, and loading of the data. We will see these workflows, what is the concept, why is it required. We will really work on several workflows, so need not worry about it. Workflows contain steps that define the order of the steps within a job for execution. Workflow called data flow, but cannot manipulate data themselves. Workflows are called from inside the workflows or jobs. By definition, I am reading out what are these objects are. You don't need to remember any of these definitions, but it is always when an interviewer try to trick you, can I use a workflow inside a workflow? Can I use a data flow or directly in a job? Those kind of questions, this will help you. So the symbols are here. The projects are like this, jobs are like this, workflows are like this. Was there a question?
Yeah, like, can we, is it very much required that we have to put a data flow inside a workflow all the time?
It is not mandatory, but you will be forced to do that because without a wrapper around, you can't do a proper job. The reason I say that is, a workflow is like this. In the same way, we thought about relocating from one home to other home. Yes. Let us look at the process. The U-Haul is a truck, which is an ETL tool.
Yeah.
And then each item, the boxes inside it is the data. The furniture is the data. But the driver sitting in the front of the truck is the workflow. He knows which route he has to take. He knows whether he has to go in one way or he should go at a 60 speed or 40 speed, how he can guide you. That person is a workflow. So if you ask me, can a U-Haul run without the driver? Yeah, put an auto cop on top of it. If you have, so I'm just
okay, but the question arises because when we go into the interface, we have that option. I think we have that option of putting the data flow directly. So that's the reason I asked, like, is it really mandatory?
That is a legitimate question. No worries. See, you can always do a data flow directly, but workflow is the one which will govern which data flow to run when. There will be definitely several dependencies. For example, your dimension tables has to be loaded before you load the fact table.
Yes.
You can connect the data flows in sequence. Yes. But the catch is the dimension tables has to be loaded parallelly because they don't have any kind of dependency.
Okay.
And data services will not allow you to have 4 data flows in parallel and 2 data flows in sequence. At that time, you require the workflow. Today we are going to do that. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm giving you the terminology. Scripts. A script is signified like this. A script is a collection of data services scripting language statements. Batch jobs start and end with the scripts. An initialization and a finalization script is something which I put and recommend as part of each job. And then scripts can also be used inside the component to execute an SQL statement, to set a variable, or to execute a data services function. All variables used in data flow must be initialized in a script. Don't worry, guys. Definition wise, you don't need to remember, but I'm trying to give what all we can do in a script. Data flows. This is the most happening place. Here the actual data flows. In the work, it doesn't flow. In the data flow, the data flows, really. So that is the symbol of a data flow. A data flow contains It defines steps to extract data from one or more sources, transform the data and load the data into one or more target tables. That is what the data flow does. But now when we go into the real-time world, you will differentiate between a workflow and data flow, when to use what. I will show you. ABAP data flow. ABAP data flow is very specific if you have an SAP as a source. SAP as a source, you can use an ABAP data flow, and you can use the R3 connector, and you can extract the data.